Member of Parliament for Argyll and Bute, a constituency with an aggregated coastline longer than that of France. I am very well aware of the importance of fishing and aquaculture to the economic well-being of my constituency and communities around the UK. I am also very aware of the dangers faced by fishermen, with the community of Tarbert in particular still mourning the loss of Duncan McDougall and Shemek Krychek when the Nancy Glen sank in January of this year. As well as having an inshore fishing fleet, we in Argyll and Bute also export huge quantities of shellfish, some of the best in the world, and we also are proud to be the home of many of the most renowned salmon, halibut and trout producers. This means there are significant differences between the industries on the west coast and those of the east, but that doesn't mean they do not share common ground. First, they both rely on guaranteed, fast, unhindered access to markets. Second, they need to be able to recruit the right people to crew the boats, and they need sufficient numbers of people to process the catch quickly, efficiently and dispatch it to where it has to go, much of it to continental Europe. Where they also have shared common ground is their justified fear of what is contained in the government's withdrawal agreement, because that agreement does not provide the frictionless trade that they want and need. Nor does it guarantee access to the workforce they require. And arguably, most damaging of all, it puts Scotland's fishing industry at a competitive disadvantage compared to Northern Ireland. In short, Madam Deputy Speaker, what the Prime Minister is proposing does not guarantee a bright future for the Scottish fishing industry. The fishing industry, particularly in the west coast of Scotland, is facing a recruitment crisis, and I was very pleased to hear my friend, Honourable Member for Nanyili Nyar, raise the issue, because we desperately need the ability to recruit fishermen to work in our boats and to work in our processing factories as well. Madam Deputy Speaker, as I suspected we might, we've heard a great deal this afternoon about the shortcomings of the common fisheries policy, and I for one will not defend the CFP. But let me be absolutely clear, as I've said earlier this afternoon, that despite all of the bluster we've heard, all of the obfuscation we've heard from the Conservative Party, they were complicit in the creation of the CFP and have been actively implementing the common fisheries policy for the past 40 years. Indeed, since 1970, the Conservative Party have been in power for 38 years. So from Ted Heath to Margaret Thatcher to John Major and the rest of them, the Conservative Party's fingerprints are all over the CFP. And let the record show that it has been the Scottish National Party in this place who, since the early 1970s, have been the consistent and vocal opposition to the common fisheries policy. And I can understand why that makes nervous reading for the members opposite, because despite their attempts to position themselves as the champions of Scottish fishing, the truth is, down the years, Conservative governments have time and again sold out the fishing industry when it was convenient so to do. And deep down, the members opposite know that that's exactly what this government are planning to do again. And I look at the sprinkling of long faces on the benches opposite, and their demeanour is very, very different to what it was a year ago, because they know they have been hung out to dry by their own Prime Minister, and the promises they made to the fishing communities in the north east of Scotland before last year's general election are absolutely worthless. And I'm sure the members opposite will have read, probably through the cracks in their fingers, the article by Muir Dickey in yesterday's Financial Times, when he highlighted the reality of what's happening in the north east of Scotland. As one Peterhead-based fish wholesaler told him, "I think we've been sold down the river once again. It's an absolute disgrace." And he's right. It is an absolute disgrace. But this is what happens, Madam Deputy Speaker, when it turns out that the one-trick pony can't actually even perform the trick. Madam Deputy Speaker, it certainly didn't take long for the cast-iron guarantees of the 2017 general election to become the latest addition to the shameful roll call of Tory betrayal of the Scottish fishing industry. Madam Deputy Speaker, does anyone really believe that had Scotland been in control of its own fishing assets in 1972, that we would have allowed this vital industry to be treated as a bargaining chip the way it has been for the last 4 decades. That's why only an independent Scottish Government can adequately look after the interests of our fishing industry, because only a Scottish Government, an independent government, will recognise the significance of this industry's contribution to our economy, and only an independent Scottish Government can be relied upon not to use our fishing industry as a bargaining chip. The stark truth is, Madam Deputy Speaker, the glib and hollow promises made last year by career-hungry candidates wearing blue rosettes are now unravelling, because they were all predicated on a UK government acting in the best interest of the Scottish fishing industry. History has told them nothing. Madam Deputy Speaker, finally I look forward to the day when an independent Scotland, as a member of the European Union, is able to help shape a common fishing policy, one that works for us and is of benefit to our neighbours as well.
Ruchi Patel.